the one sneaker I see myself buying time and time again are the Air Jordan 1. These shoes right here, no matter what it is, I always find an attraction to the shoe. No, not in some weird way, but just in a way where it's like, I love the shoe. Every single colorway has my attention. It's just a shoe I continuously buy, and I probably won't stop buying anytime soon. The thing is, Air Jordan 1s are really expensive. They haven't always been this expensive, but right now is probably one of the most expensive times to buy Air Jordan 1s. So if you want to buy shoes like these, like the Breads or the Bands or the Chicago ones, these kinds of shoes you have to buy pretty much on release and get lucky. You have to get lucky to buy them for retail. If you don't buy them for retail, you're likely going to have to pay some pretty hefty resale prices. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about some budget alternatives, some cheaper versions. We're going to give you guys some great options that are under 250 Canadian or 200 US dollars. A lot of the sneakers I'm going to recommend today have a really good chance. Now, when I say really, I mean a really good chance at the resale values climbing quite a bit over the next few years if you plan to invest in some sneakers. Jordan 1s historically have always been a very stable sneaker to invest into, especially anything that is OG or has some OG kind of aesthetics, like the Bread Toes, for example. Those were not an OG colorway, but they definitely fetch those really high resale prices. So let's talk about them, the best Air Jordan 1s you can buy on a budget and wear on a pretty much daily basis. And speaking about daily, I gotta mention our sponsor for today's video, Ridge, the Ridge wallet. If you guys haven't checked out their wallets yet, they make some of the sleekest, most minimal, that sounds kind of funny, but they make some amazing wallets that hold a ton of cards and you can throw away your old big bulky wallet. I use these every single day, just like my Jordan 1s, so I get a lot of value out of these, and they also make some pretty dope backpacks which definitely go under the radar. And when it comes to Canada, the snow, the rain, the weathers, the elements out there can be pretty brutal. So this protects all my Pokemon cards and all my expensive like camera equipment. I don't have to worry about them getting damaged with the rain. So check out the Ridge in the comment section down below in the pinned comment or in the description and use my promo code SneakerTalk to save some money. Let's dive into today's Air Jordan 1 themed video. So as I mentioned earlier, Air Jordan 1s are one of the safest and I want to say most stable sneakers you can buy if you're looking to invest into sneakers because of just how much demand there are for that shoe. However, there are some cases where the Air Jordan 1 strongly underperforms, doesn't live up to the hype, and ends up reselling for below retail, or they stay at pretty much retail for the longest of time. First up are the Air Jordan 1 High Light Fusion Red. This is a shoe quite a few people were looking forward to, but once we saw them in hand, in person, it just didn't live up to our expectations. A lot of people called them the Ronald McDonald ones because it's using a fusion red and yellow colorway, but the thing is, the red on the shoe is very much like a pink. It's like a fuchsia pink, and that's not a colorway a lot of people who love Jordan 1s typically want to wear. That high demand pool of people who want to buy ones to wear them, to collect them, it strongly diminishes because not too many people want a pink Air Jordan 1 or a pink and yellow Air Jordan 1. It's quite the odd kind of color combo. The leather quality is probably one of the best leathers I've seen on an Air Jordan 1 this year. However, the quality of the leather is just not enough to make up for this lackluster colorway. Speaking about Air Jordan 1s that have fantastic quality but just underperform in the looks department, we got the Air Jordan 1 High Patina. This is a shoe that kind of looks like a rusted Air Jordan 1 Shadow. It has a lot going on to it, and I'm not a fan of these at all. These were sitting for weeks in Toronto where I'm from. It's not a shoe I would ever consider buying even for under retail. It's just such an ugly looking shoe in my opinion. But hey, if this is the kind of shoe that you genuinely like, don't let me stop you from buying them. You can buy them for below retail or retail at a lot of places. And last but not least, we have the Electro Orange Air Jordan 1. This isn't a shoe I particularly like. I'm not really a fan of the color blocking that they did. It's not the kind of color blocking I really like on an Air Jordan 1. A lot of people were calling them like the next shattered backboards, and that whole nickname just wasn't enough to save this shoe. So if you wanted to pick up a decent orange Air Jordan 1, because a lot of the orange shattered backboard ones are really high up there in resale value, this is a pretty decent option, just not one I personally like. And before we get into the highs, like the Air Jordan 1 highs, that's where a lot of you guys are going to be here for, I want to quickly mention some Air Jordan 1 lows and some Air Jordan 1 mids, because the audience here on my channel typically really enjoy the lows and mids. This is a safe space, you could say, for Jordan 1 low and mid lovers. So one Air Jordan 1 low that I definitely gotta say is really surprising surprising me in terms of resale value is the Air Jordan 1 Low Neutral Gray OG. This is a shoe that's reselling for about 260 Canadian dollars. This was a shoe that was sitting and reselling for pretty much retail or 200 Canadian dollars for the longest time, and that honestly really surprised me because of how wearable the colorway is. The fact is, they had pretty much no resale value for the first couple of months, and now they fetch for 260, which is like $60 above retail or $70 above Canadian retail, which is you know, a testament to show you guys Air Jordan 1s are very, very strong in terms of their ability to climb up in resale value. Also, as we're talking about resale value and pricing so much in this video, I do want to talk about one thing that really makes me mad about the Air Jordan 1. That is the retail pricing disparity from America to America to Canada. In Canada, the retail price for an Air Jordan 1 High is 230 Canadian dollars plus tax, and I'm from Ontario, so our tax rate is 13%. So we're paying about 260 Canadian at retail cost for an Air Jordan 1 High. Now you compare that to America, that's 170 US, which converts to about 215 Canadian. For the exact same shoe that's being sold at New York and Buffalo, it's for retail it's 215 Canadian. In Toronto, it's 230. And then you guys have much cheaper sales tax as well in America. There's some states where it even has zero sales tax compared to our 13%, which is bonkers. It's crazy to me. As Canadians, we do pay more for Air Jordan 1s, so there's a slight premium to them. Of course, this is probably the case for a lot of other shoes as well, but when you spend so much money on Jordan 1s, it definitely adds up over time. So when I say something is going for retail in Canada, that means it's going for about 250, 260 Canadian, which means there is still a profit margin of like $10 to $15 above American retail. So just do keep that in mind. Do keep that in mind when you talk about pricing. All right, now before we dive into the Air Jordan 1 Highs, let me just quickly mention a bunch of really good Air Jordan 1 Mids that you might want to check out. We're not going to get into too much detail about them. I'm going to do probably a top 10 Jordan 1 Mid video later this month for the top 10 series we're going to do. First up, we have the Air Jordan 1 Mid Hyper Royal, which is pretty much a budget alternative to the Air Jordan 1 High Royal. Next up, we have the Air Jordan 1 Mid Band or Bread. This is a sneaker that is obviously inspired by the high top Air Jordan 1 Band. And the cool thing about this shoe is the resale prices of these have gone up quite a bit. So these were actually reselling for about 190 Canadian dollars last year, like around this time. Now they resell for about 240 to 250 Canadian dollars. So that is a really big jump. That's like $60 in resale value, which is like a lot for a mid. So if you were to stock up on these back then, you definitely hit a little mini lottery if you bought a ton of them. Next up is the Air Jordan 1 Mid Gym Red. This is probably one of the best colorways for the mid that released in 2021. Next mid to recommend is the Air Jordan 1 Mid Kentucky. Now this was a sneaker that was a woman's exclusive. However, if you go up large enough in a men's size, you can convert it and you'll be fine. So like I am a size 11.5 in women's, I'm a size 10 in men. So that's the conversion. It's 1.5 sizes down. Similarly to the Kentucky Air Jordan 1 Mid, we have the Syracuse Air Jordan 1 Mid. This is another woman's exclusive sneaker, which if you get in a large enough size, you of course can wear if you're a guy. And shout out to subscriber Julia Christina, who put on their Instagram story today that they bought them because of me. Another fantastic Jordan 1 Mid to put on the radar. Oh yeah, there was also an Air Jordan 1 Low I forgot to mention earlier, but that is the Air Jordan 1 Bread Toe. This is a shoe a lot of people were anticipating this year, and the resale prices are honestly surprisingly low. Like if I were to invest in any Jordan 1 Low this year, this would be the shoe. Also, review on the way for that sneaker. I haven't yet reviewed them on the channel. One more final Air Jordan 1 Low. I swear my notes are all over the place, but we're talking about the Air Jordan 1 Low Starfish, aka Shattered Backboard. The resale prices are about 250 to 260 Canadian dollars, so probably around 200 to 220 US, and it uses that famous Shattered Backboard colorway, the color blocking of a Chicago, all in a low top fashion. And now onto two other Air Jordan 1s, which aren't really a low, mid, or high. We're gonna talk about the AJKO, the Air Jordan 1 Knockout or Knock Off. I believe that's the proper corresponding to the KO. And this is a shoe that uses full canvas, and it has a white, not even a white leather panel, a white panel on the back, which is one thing a lot of people don't like about the shoe. Plus it doesn't use leather on the shoe at all, besides like the little tongue top part thingy label. This is a great alternative to the leather versions of the shoes that they correspond to. We had the Chicago one AJKO released this year alongside the Storm Blue, which is a first for that kind of colorway. So now let's talk about the Air Jordan 1 High and the best colorways you can buy for the budget prices of pretty much retail or $200 or less. First up is the Air Jordan 1 High Japan Co Neutral Gray. This is a shoe that I think it makes sense it's at the resale prices that it's at because the colorway is a little harder for some people to wear. The shoe kind of has like a metallic shiny finish to it on the back panels, and that might be enough reason for someone to not want to wear them. But if you like them, they're a really accessible neutral colorway for the Air Jordan 1 High. It's also, I think, one of the first times we've seen them retro since they came out a long time ago in Japan, and they were once a Japan exclusive. There's a one thing that a lot of people won't like about the shoe, and that is the tongue. It doesn't use the Nike Air branding on the tongue. Instead, it has Nike Air stitched in, which is something that turns off a lot of Air Jordan 1 purists. And the resale prices for this shoe have been on a steady decline since the release, which is something that's kind of uncommon for Jordan 1. The next Jordan 1 is the Air Jordan 1 High Prototype. Now, this is a shoe that you can actually turn into a low top Jordan 1. So say you wore these shoes as a high top for pretty much a year or two, and you think, yo, it's about time we chop it off and make them into a low top. You can basically get a brand new shoe by cutting off half of the shoe. It's a concept we really haven't seen before on a Jordan 1. Current resale prices I've seen for these is about $255 to $260 Canadian, which is pretty much retail. Next up is the Air Jordan 1 High Black Volt Gold. This is a shoe that really surprised me that it's so affordable in terms of a Air Jordan 1 High. The colorway is a little trickier for some people to wear just because that neon volt or that volt color on the back is very loud, but at the same time I think it is a really easy to wear color if you're just wearing more neutral stuff up top and let the sneakers do the talking. At the end of the day, it's a really refreshing Air Jordan 1 High and a colorway that honestly isn't that bad. I love a lot of things about it. I even did a review of these on the channel, I believe. I like the tongue that's translucent and orange. I like the foam, exposed foam on it too. Gives some sort of off-white vibes if you're into that. And at the end of the day, it is a really, at least for myself to say, an easy to wear Jordan 1. The next sneaker I gotta mention are the Air Jordan 1 High OG Pollen. This is a shoe which really surprises me right now that it is so affordable. They sat on shelves for so long in certain places. Like the Full Locker store in downtown Toronto had a bunch of these still sitting, so I ended up being able to double up on my pair. But look at these, man. These are clean. It uses that bread Air Jordan 1 color blocking, but in the portions where it could have been basically red or stuff, or the reverse breads, it's black. So yellow and black sneaker. Now this is a shoe that is harder for a lot of people to wear. I think that yellow is a bit intimidating for some people, but if you're the right person who has the right wardrobe, this is a sneaker I think you can sneak into your weekly sneaker rotation. I'm a huge fan of the way that the sneakers colors complement each other and contrast each other, and I'm also a big fan of the Wu-Tang dunks, which pretty much this sneaker was inspired by. These are going for about 250 Canadian dollars, which is below retail after tax, which blows my mind. This is definitely a sneaker I could see have the resale value at least double over the course of the next 10 years. But that's like a long hold, I'm saying. But at least over the next couple of years, I see these going up at least $50 for sure. Next up, we have the Air Jordan 1 High Shadow 2.0. This is a shoe that disappointed a lot of people. The quality just wasn't there, and a lot of people wanted a really strong quality leather out of this Air Jordan 1. It also uses a mixture of material. It's not a pure leather Jordan 1, which a lot of people really love. Instead, it uses nubuck on all these gray portions of the shoe, which is enough to turn off people from buying it. But at the same time, this is a shoe that is insanely wearable for daily use. So if you're that person who buys like one sneaker a year and they really want it to be a super versatile shoe, the Air Jordan 1 High Shadow 2.0 is probably the shoe for you if you can get past the poor leather quality and the nubuck on the gray portions of the shoe. Next up is probably one of my personal favorite sneaker releases of the year, not just for Jordan 1s, like just overall sneakers of the year, and that is the Air Jordan 1 High Seafoam. This was a woman's exclusive sneaker, similarly to the mids I mentioned earlier. This is a shoe that really shocks me in terms of the resale value. Right now, these are not going for that much over retail, if anything, and it is such a fantastic colorway. This like clay green, you could say, this like very light green mixed in with the white. It kind of uses like a Chicago 1 color blocking, except it doesn't have the black swoosh, which is very important. The shoe looks amazing. It's not based off of any other shoe out there. It's the very first time the shoe has been released, and I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on these. The resale of these should go up a ton over the next few years. Next sneaker would have to be the Air Jordan 1 High Bordeaux. This is a fantastic Air Jordan 1 High. It has that kind of Chicago 1-esque kind of look with the way that the color blocking is done. It does, however, use a silver swoosh on the side, which does make it a drop for some people. I like it. I don't mind it at all. And you got a matching Air Jordan Wings logo with like a jewel kind of theme going on. It's not like debossed into the leather or anything like that. So really clean shoe. These also come with white laces if you wanted to go the white lace option, which I probably will. And it really is an affordable Jordan 1 you can buy right now for close to retail. Thanks again to the Ridge for sponsoring today's video. Check them out. I'll leave them linked in the pinned comment. Go ahead and use my code SneakerTalk to save some money on their website and cop you or a loved one a gift in form of a wallet or a backpack, which you'll use daily like I use my Jordan 1s daily. Comment down below what you guys think about my recommendations and if you own any of the sneakers on this list, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.